Hi guys, how's it going and welcome back. This is going to be our second video in the Adobe Illustrator series. In this video we're going to be looking at the basic shapes that Adobe provide you. We're going to be looking at the fill and stroke, as well as how to create a dashed kind of outline like this one here. And then lastly we're going to be looking at creating some custom shapes. Now with the custom shapes one, if you don't understand it all too much, don't worry, if you don't understand it all, try not to worry too much, because I will be making a more in-depth video about working with the Pathfinder tool in a future video. So yeah guys, let's get straight into the shapes. So as you can see here, we've got a square, a rectangle and a rounded rectangle. Now to create these, what you want to do is, let me just close that, over here on the left, and let me just set that back to that so it's the same as your default, or what should be your default dashboard. Right, so let's try that again. So what you want to do guys is over here on the left hand side, scroll down until you find the rectangle tool. Click and hold the left mouse button on that and you'll get this little box here pop out. Now you can just select what tool you want to use. So say I want to select a circle, go back, I want to select a star, go back, select a rectangle. As you can see guys, going back and forth can get a bit tedious. So if you want, what you can do is click and hold on it, and then when the box pops out, over here on the right you'll have this little, it's like really skinny guys, this little bar with a little triangle on it. Click on that and that will make the toolbar, or the shape tools, snap out of the bar over here, and then you can just place it where you want and then just drag around your artboards like that, and you'll notice that it actually moves with you. So yeah guys, first off we're going to cover the rectangle tool. So what you want to do is just click and drag, and as you can see it will show you what your shape will look like. So like that, we've got a really long height wise rectangle. We now have a really skinny width wise, or height wise, however you want to look at it, rectangle. So once you've got your shape, what you want to do is just let go of the mouse button and it will give you your shape. And the same for squares. So you can try and drag like that and create a square, and to be fair, that is a pretty good looking square. I can feel a sneeze coming on, sorry guys, 2 secs. Like, sorry about that guys, I feel I'm coming down with a cold, I've got a sore throat and I keep sneezing today. So yeah, anyways, as I was saying, that's a pretty good square for the first attempt. But to cheat and do it quickly, what you want to do is just hold the shift key in and then just drag and drop, and as you see it gives you a square. So that is the rectangle tool guys. Now I just want to show you something before we move on to the rounded rectangle tool, because I have no idea why Adobe put in a rounded rectangle tool, but basically what the rounded rectangle tool does, if you drag and drop, you'll notice that it gives you a rounded rectangle. The corners are rounded, as you, if I zoom in you can see the corners are rounded there. So let's just delete that. Now if you remember, I literally just created these three with the standard rectangle tool. Now if you click on one of them, in the corners you'll notice that you've got these 4 circles. And if you click and drag on that, you can actually drag the corners in and get a rounded rectangle. The same for a rounded square. And with the square, if you actually drag it all the way in, you get, oh, let's try that again, drag that in all the way, you kind of get like this weird little circle thing going on. So yeah, I don't know why they added in 2 rectangle tools when the first rectangle tool does the same as what the second rectangle tool does, if that makes sense. Anyways, so the third tool on the list is the ellipse tool, and again if you hold the shift key in and drag, you get a perfect circle. Without the shift key you get a weird kind of disc kind of shape thing going on. So that's the ellipse tool guys. Not much to really say on that one. You can't round the corners off because the corners are already rounded. It's a circle, it has no corners. So the next one is the polygon tool. Now with this one, if I drag that out and hold the shift key, you'll notice that the bottom edge is straight, whereas if I don't hold the shift key I can drag it and have it however I want, like that. Now there's something really special about the rectangle tool and the star tool, and that is if you drag it out without letting go, push the up key or the down key on your keyboard, and you'll notice that it starts to add more or less shapes or sides. So if I do that and then drag that out and then push up again, you'll notice that this one here has more sides than what this one does, and the same holds true for the star tool. So if we drag that out, push down, you'll notice that we've now got a nice star like that, a nice basic standard 5-point star. drag it out again, push up, and you'll notice it loses the star kind of shape, but it becomes like this weird spiked ball kind of thing. So yeah guys, that's the star tool and the polygon tool. So next on our list is working with fill colours and stroke. So if I just drag that down quickly. Now let me just quickly add a new layer. So we'll drag that down there, lock the top layer, and then grab our paintbrush, increase the stroke to about 100 and just click there. You'll notice that it actually shows the colour in the background. And again, if I just change that to blue, oh, my stroke colour didn't change there. Let's change that to red. Click red, and you'll notice that it shows the red in the background. So basically, the reason that it does that, let me just delete that layer and unlock that layer. Now the reason that it does that is if I just select it, over here on the bottom left, this is where you can define your stroke and your fill colour. So if I click on this one here, the box that's got like a centre missing, double click on that, and then we'll select blue. You'll notice that the stroke actually changes to blue. Whereas with the fill, it's a white box with a red line going through it. Now if I give that go over green fill, oh, helps if I select the actual colour, or the actual shape, sorry. That's better. Now you'll notice that we have the green centre colour, fill colour there. So basically, if we want to set it back to the fill's got no colour, what you want to do is just make sure that your shape is selected, and then down here you'll notice that you've got a little box that's got a white box, sorry, with a red line going through it. Click on that, and you'll notice that the fill colour has now disappeared. And the same holds true for the stroke colour. So if we click on, we'll give that a nice pinky raspberry kind of colour. Single click on the stroke, so that is now the active colour that you're working with. Click on the num box again, and you'll notice that the stroke has actually disappeared. So that's how you can change and how you can add and remove the fill colour, guys. Now the next one, I literally just want to show you the kind of things that you can do with colours. So if you double click on that, we'll change that to like a dull kind of shady blue kind of colour, and then double click on the stroke again, select yellow, and you'll notice that we now have a yellow stroke. So that's again guys how you can add and change your fill and stroke colour. Now the next one, if I just drag that over to there into our fresh artboard, I don't know why I actually added two artboards there guys, I have no idea. I was trying to be efficient and I was a little bit too efficient. But as you can see here guys, you actually have a stroke kind of dashed line going around the outside and the inside of the box. Now to do this, what you want to do is over here on our snap box that we worked with last time in the last video, you should have an option called stroke. Now if you click on that, you'll have all these new options here. So I'm just going to set these back to default, and as you can see, our box now has like this square rectangle kind of dashed line. Now to set up the rounded line thing that I just had, or the rounded dashed line that I just had, sorry guys, what you want to do is over here on the right, you'll notice that you've got an option for cap, and what the cap does is it's the end of the dash. So as you can see here, if I just zoom in, you'll notice that our dash has actually got a straight kind of edge. It's a rectangle in theory. Well, it is a rectangle guys. So if we click on the cap, you'll notice that we now actually have a rounded dash. And if we just drag down to the corner quickly, zoom out and zoom back in onto the corner, you'll notice that the corners still have that straight kind of edge going on. So what you want to do for the corner, if you ain't guessed already, is just click the round join, and you'll notice that we now have a rounded corner. If we click the bevel join, we now get a kind of angled straight line, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to jump back to the rounded one. And the last thing to show you, if we just zoom back out quickly, is how to change the size of your dashed line. Now, to activate the dash, if you noticed, I just unchecked that box there. I just unchecked that box, and we actually have a standard straight stroke line. So if you click the dash, what you can do is, if we just enter in the value 1 there, you'll notice that we still have that straight line. Now, if you just don't care about the size or the size of the gap or the size of the stroke, like between each stroke, you can just sit in this box and keep pushing up, and you will soon see, helps if the shape's selected, you'll soon see that we start getting the dash. And the more I increase it, the bigger the dash gets, and it starts to basically it works with a default kind of like gap basis basically. And what I mean by that is, if I just keep increasing until it snaps again, you'll notice that we now basically just have the corners with a dash on. Now if I go to the gap and set the gap to 12, and then the dash here to say 10, and the gap there to 15, and leave them two blank, you'll notice that we kind of have this funky sporadic kind of dashed line going on. So we've got a long dash, we've got a long dash, no gap, small dash, small gap, long line, no dash, no gap, small dash, gap, and so on. And basically the reason that it does that is, if you look over here on the right, guys, I've got a 113 point dash, which is this long dash here, and then a 12 point dash followed by a 12 point gap, sorry guys, followed by a 10 point dash. And basically that is that dash there with that gap there. Now because the dashes are so long and the gap's so small, we don't actually have, we can't see the gap. Whereas if I increase that gap to 120, you'll notice that the gap has now become really big. So that is basically what these gaps and dashes down here do, guys. Sorry. I'm just going to delete them, and we'll set that back to 24 and click that, and we now have our nice dash going on there, guys. So yeah, that is how you can create the dashes there, how you can get a nice kind of dash effect going on. If you want to put my teeth back in, if you want to align it to the center, what you have to do is make sure oh my god, too many dashes and too many gaps. You want to make sure your shape is selected, unclick dash line, and then where the align stroke is, align that to the inside of the shape, and you'll notice that the dash is now actually, or the stroke, sorry guys, is now on the inside of the shape. Select the dash, and you'll notice that the dash is now aligned to the inside of the shape, so that you can then start to play with the dash points and try and get the perfect stroke for the inside of the shape. So yeah guys, that is the stop misbehaving computer. That is the that is working with your fill and your stroke and your shapes and your stroke, and creating a dash kind of outline for your shapes. I'm going to grab a glass of water quickly, guys, because I have a really dry mouth, and then last one that we're going to work on is the custom shapes. Okay guys, and I am back. So the last one that we're working on are the custom shapes. Now what I'm going to do is just drag this over to here quickly and zoom in on this, because we're going to be working with this custom shape first. So as you can see here guys, I've got a rectangle that has a circle, a square, and a kind of star thing going on. And basically what these here are, they're actually transparent, so the shape actually has nothing there. So if I change that to red, you'll notice that these shapes here have still not changed, and I haven't basically I haven't drawn out a shape and then just gone, oh, I'll put that there. Like, they are actually missing from the shape. Now the reason that you might want to do something like this is, say for instance you have a banner and you want to write a bit of font on it, and you want that font to be excluded from the shape. So the shirt colour, if you're designing for shirts, the shirt colour is going to show through the banner basically. So that the font will take the colour of the shirt that it is printed on. That is where you'd want to do something like this. So basically what you want to do is, let me just snap out my shapes again quickly, drag that down, draw your shape. So I'm going to stick with the rectangle, and then you want to make the other shapes that you want to be excluded. So I'm going to go for a square with rounded corners, polygon, and a star. I'm then going to give these a quick colour change so that you can see them when I place them on top of the shape, on top of the rectangle. I'm then going to place these there, there, and resize you quickly. There. I'm then going to grab this rectangle and shrink it in a bit. Oh, I'm actually moving the rectangle. There we go, shrink it in a bit, just like that. I'm then going to grab them all and move them just there so that I can see them a bit better, and swimming like that. So what I'm going to do now is highlight them all, and then over here on the Pathfinder tool, click on that, and then you're looking for minus front, which is on the top row, second from the left. Click on that, and you'll notice that it's actually moved the front of the shapes. So if I quickly grab my paintbrush and then add a new layer, lock that layer, drag you there, and then what colour stroke have we got? We don't have a stroke colour, so we'll set you to black. Now if you watch, why did you just not set to black? That was a fail. Alright, set you to black. Okay, right, now if you watch, the black is there. Drag a line over there quickly. Sorted. Right, so yeah, the black's there, disappears because obviously our shape there takes priority, it's on top of it. You've then got the black line there, disappears, shows, disappears, shows. So basically the shapes there I have cut away from that shape, and that is why it is classed as a custom shape when using Adobe Illustrator. So let me just delete that layer there, guys, and unlock that, delete them, and the last shape that we're going to be creating is this weird kind of funky looking book kind of shape. So let me just shrink that and we'll work with this one here now. So what I'm going to do, how I created this is I grabbed the ellipse tool, I drew a circle, I then got the line tool, which is here, guys, so it's underneath the type tool, above the shape tool, or the ellipse tool, or the rectangle tool, whatever one it is there. Grab the line tool, and then I just basically drew a line going straight down the centre. Select the both of them, and then on the Pathfinder tool, again, what you want to do is look for the fired, which I believe is the first one on the bottom. Click that, and you'll notice that we now have basically the top bits there disappeared, and we've basically, what we've just done is we've created two separate shapes, but they are still grouped. So if I try and move them, or move one of them, it's going to move the pair of them. So what you want to do is click on it, right click, ungroup, and as you can see, we now have two shapes. We have a semicircle basically. So what I'm going to do then is just overlay them like that until they're looking a bit like the shape at the top there. Close enough. I'm going to select the pair of them again, and again come to the Pathfinder, click unite, and as you see, we now have the shape that we got at the top there. And then all I done was I just grabbed the line tool, drag from there to there. Try and make it a nice straight line. Okay, that shape isn't actually symmetrical, that is why I'm getting a bit of a wonky line. But yeah, guys, and then literally all I've done was just regroup them, and now if I resize, that is our custom shape. So yeah, guys, I apologise that I started rambling again at a couple of points. Trying to teach people how to use Illustrator is actually harder than what I thought it would be. When I'm using the tools, I'm like a little ninja. Like literally, I know where everything is. I'm flying about, doing this, doing that. But actually trying to explain it to people, I'm finding it a little bit harder than what I thought it would be, guys. So yeah, I apologise if I started rambling and if I confused you at a couple of points. By all means, if you did get confused about something, then please feel free to leave a comment below, and I will be more than happy to either walk you through the steps or create another video a bit more in depth showing you how I've done something, or just explaining it all a little bit more. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, I shall see you in the next Adobe Illustrator series video kind of thing that we've got going on here. Take it easy, guys. Cheers for watching, and I shall catch you later. Bye.